What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 7 of season 1 of Lazarus. We'll be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've had a chance to watch this episode, and we will do a real quick recap. Chevy, what happened in this episode?
Yeah, so
a lot of swimming.
Following the cult episode, we're still waiting on the AI memory or fragment or whatever they called it to decrypt. So they're kind of having a discussion on what steps they could take because they're kind of running out of leads. As I think we even mentioned last time, they were done. Like, there's no more leads at this point. So they're kind of discussing maybe like starting from the beginning, blah blah, all this stuff. Anyways, the AI core basically decrypts around that time, and they check. And it's a series of letters and numbers, and they kind of have a couple thoughts, like maybe it's a phone number, maybe it's map coordinates. Maybe it's, I can't remember what the other thing was, but it ended up being map coordinates to 4 locations across the globe, all submerged due to, climate change and water levels rising. So it's a bunch of like islands. They also find out that all 4 locations Skinner had purchased at one point. So now their lead, they split into 4 groups. They go to these 4 locations. I can't remember all of them. It's like Fiji, somewhere in Japan. I can't remember the other 2. It doesn't matter. They're islands that aren't islands anymore, basically. And then as you kind of like alluded to, they kind of swim around because it's all submerged stuff to kind of see if they could find anything. And as they're kind of doing that, they are chatting, over a little, watch, receiver thing they have, and they kind of go through a bunch of ideas and stuff like that, and like have a little bit of socialization and stuff like that. Talk about the future of Lazarus, and then it kind of comes up that one of the guys who is the ship owner that Axel rented, I believe. Has a scratch on his face, and Axel, asked him about it, and he didn't realize he had gotten it because apparently he can't feel pain. They dig a little more into that, and it's a genetic thing that people from that island kind of have. And then they kind of go down this rabbit hole, realizing that Skinner had bought all these places, gave all these people money, and they have this thought that maybe that gene they were using as like a basis for where like Hapna comes from. And so they've kind of now got this new lead we can follow. And while digging into this, a lot of that research stuff went to a specific company. And right towards the end of the episode, we find out that the leader of Lazarus was also a scientist from this company, knew Skinner. And then in a separate moment, she's kind of talking with her boss and kind of mentions that she's just trying to figure out why Skinner did what he did, because he doesn't seem the type. And then she also wants to know why she was left behind, basically. So kind of, give us an early implying that, she had worked with him. And then those 2 moments line up. So that is basically the episode.
Do we know what that one group of people are?
No. There was another group of people. They're out doing their thing, but the girl ran into our girl. Can't remember any of their names. Sorry. They know each other. Apparently, the episode ended there. So
Yeah, because they showed them a couple times, and at the end we had the cliffhanger of them running into each other.
Yeah.
In which the girl who's part of Lazarus
looks stressed about.
Seems not happy.
Yeah.
About it. So. Yeah, this episode was pretty slow for me. My favorite thing about it probably was the different locations and how they were imagined, especially in this like post global warming situation where places are already submerged. So
yeah, there's no ice caps left.
So it was an interesting way to kind of show it. Other than that, though, it was a lot of socializing, a lot of reflecting, a lot of like thinking about what's going on, not only with Skinner, but also just a lot of discussion on the whole idea of destroying the planet and shit like that. And maybe Skinner's right for, doing what they think he's doing. So that's kind of interesting. I'm still having an issue, and I know this is going to bother anybody who is like just enjoying the show without any criticism of it. I still am not a huge fan of any of the characters. I don't have attachment to any of them. So in an episode that has like this much just kind of discussion between characters that I have no affinity for, it just kind of fell flat for me. Which just is like disappointing for me in general, because like I want to like a character in the show, but I don't. And I wonder still, and I've talked about this like 2 or 3 reviews ago, if I would feel different if we watched in Japanese or not, because I feel like the voice acting in this show is just like so flat for every character that they don't really have much personality coming out of them. So I don't know if I can just blame the voice actors or the writing. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm not in love with any of the characters. So in an episode that was like super dialogue heavy, I was kind of sitting there appreciating that we got a new lead. That's good, because at least the story's going somewhere, even though the show just keeps going into a new lead and then falling off and going to a new lead and falling off. We're getting a couple little tidbits of like strands of other leads, with the person who runs Lazarus having a closer connection with Skinner than we knew. So that's interesting. And also, we're going to be finding out, I assume, what that other group of people and their connection with that girl is. So that has me interested in where it's going. But yeah, and the episodes don't need to necessarily have action, but I've already been clear about how I feel about the characters themselves. In an episode with no action and just a lot of searching and swimming, I liked the visuals of the episode. And I look forward to seeing where these new strands of leads lead to.
Yeah. So we're over the hump at this point. This episode 7. We're on the last half of the show. So I am hoping that this lead and the information, because this episode did give us info about a potential origin of Hapna, people that were involved with Skinner, and hopefully we continue to kind of unravel and go down this rabbit hole, because I assume the show's going to end with Skinner, right?
I was going to say, do you think it's just going to be like one season show?
I think it's a one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like too. So
it's an original, so I can't imagine it going on for a while.
Yeah.
Unless it ends up being 24, which I kind of doubt with the way this show's paced. So
well, and this director hasn't really had like a bunch of ongoing shows, so
yeah, just a bunch of one and done projects.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it was a slower episode. I didn't mind it too much. I was kind of enjoying the chill vibe of it. I do agree though that the characters are, they're there, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever the reason is, they're just not really like hooking me. They'll have moments that I think are kind of funny. Like the little hacker girl was basically left out of going on vacation, and so she like set up this little snack buffet on the table and had a little tropical drink and stuff like that. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, stuff like that like the writing and the direction of it without the performance of the character show that there is, I think the scenario is funny.
Yeah.
Just because I have no affinity for her as a character because of the way she's portrayed. It didn't mean as much to me as it could have. But like I did appreciate that she was like setting up. I thought it was a funny scenario. But yeah, I feel like it would have landed further for me if I liked her. So
right. And then like the show really wants you to think highly, I guess, of Axel, right? Because even in this episode, they kind of mentioned that the government's like, asking about him now, and she makes some like, a statement about like how he's important and stuff like that. I would like to see why. Because,
yeah, that's fair.
He's just been the action man, for the show, which is fine. He can be that. I like that, but if they're gonna, prop him up, I hope, we get something from that. So.
Yeah, I definitely want something more from him, because so far every episode, it's fun to watch, of course, the action sequences, and that he's so capable in these action sequences, but like
he's effectively just the muscle of the group. So
yeah, but he's not even like that. I mean, I guess he's pretty tough, but like it's more so like his ability and agility to do things.
Right. I meant more so in his role. Right.
Yeah.
His role is more of like the muscle in the group type
Yeah.
thing. Because every time they're having a discussion, the dude just kind of shuts his brain off and goes, "Who cares? Let's go."
Yeah, and he's ready to run in. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a fucking adrenaline junkie.
Which is like, and I don't have any issue with that type of character. I think it is, very tropey to have one like that in a group anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do think we got some interesting threads. Otherwise, the episode was just a lot of chilling and checking out the scenery. It was a very pretty episode.
Yeah.
I also thought there was a moment where the one girl from Lazarus, whose name I'll never remember, apparently she's just floating in the water, but the way the water was like drawn around her face while she was like floating her back, it was really nice looking.
Yeah.
So and there's just a bunch of scenes like that where I was just like, I always appreciate how this show's drawn and like animated at times, though it does have some weird CG or not CG 3D CG stuff. Yeah. From time to time, it's not like super jarring, but it kind of does pop out a little bit.
Anything in particular? Because I thought the car rendered in 3D looked pretty good.
This episode, it did look really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I just meant the show as a whole sometimes. I don't think it's like bad. I like, the first half of Nier, for example, had some really bad CD. Of course, they were taking PS3 graphics and shoving it into a show. So
Really bad.
I'm glad they laid off that in the second half. But that's a different show. We shouldn't be talking about that. But anyways, yeah, it was good enough. Hopefully the next episode's not as slow, though.
Yeah. I need something to happen.
Yeah, I just need one of these leads to have a little more substance than
Yeah.
just a one-off little. Though some of them have been pretty good, like the nightclub
Yeah.
episode. That was just a lead that kind of went to nowhere too. But that was
Yeah.
like the whole episode was just like fun and entertaining and full of information.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind a chill episode from time to time. I think it's important to wind down from time to time. But we didn't do a lot last episode, in my opinion, either.
Yeah.
So it's been a little slow for a couple episodes. So. And with it being the last, to go back to my first point, we're on the downward slide now of this season. Got to start heading towards an ending. So
Yeah, gotta get something going here. So
or at least the cliffhanger if there's another part. I have not done any research on the show, so
yeah.
but yeah, overall it's fine.
Yeah, because I can appreciate the formula of the show being like they're trying to unravel the mystery in every episode. They're following a lead and trying to figure something out. But when all the leads kind of fall off and lead to more leads that fall off, and every episode just ends up them being like just speculating on what they think it could mean, that's only interesting for so long. I need something of substance to happen. And luckily, this episode seems like it's going to lead towards something. But, I don't know. I don't know where
both
it's going.
Skinner tie-in and then member with like history of someone, it seems like type of thing. So we have a couple things to kind of look forward to in the next episode.
Yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, let us know in the comments what did you guys think about this episode. What were some of your favorite parts, maybe least favorite parts? Maybe there's something in the episode that we didn't talk about that you'd like to talk about. Talk about it in the comments below. Where do you think things are going from here? Feel free to speculate. And how do you feel about the show so far? Do you think it's, are you liking the pace? Are you liking the characters? Or maybe you don't agree with me at all or in general about the characters. Maybe you love them or maybe you don't like them. I don't know. Let me know. And how you feeling about the show so far and where do you think it's going from here? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Lazarus. Stay tuned. We will have another review for this show soon. We are watching Shogun again, so we will be doing our season review of that soon. And next season, we got a bunch of things we got to watch. So we will have more reviews coming soon when that season starts. That's how many weeks out?
Well, we're halfway through this one, so
Yeah.
5 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys probably know I'm not informed on it, but
it's June. It's happening in June.
okay. Yeah. But we got Kaiju number 8, Dan to Dan, and Sakamoto Days. So I'm looking forward to two of those, and one of them I'm hoping is as good as some people have told me it gets after the first season or the first part.
Which would be stereotypical of anime anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, it happens. So, and I hope that's the case. So, but yeah, if you have any recommendations for things for us to watch, let us know in the comments below. But I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and until the next one, we will talk to you guys later.